Okay, just checking. Okay, it should start up soon. Okay. All right, we're live. Well,
good morning.
G'day, buddies.
Good morning, CT.
Hey, good morning, Mick. Well,
I'm very excited.
This afternoon, it's 5:37 in the afternoon here.
5:30. Yes, I've got that on my world clock on my iPad. It shows 5:37 p.m. your time.
Yeah, and I can't show you, but as you can see, it's sunshine out the window, but I haven't got a view out the window right now. But if you've been checking some of the things on my channel, you should know. I don't think I've done another stream from Punta Arenas. I should say Punta Arenas. That's where
Is that
we
how
are.
they say it?
That's how they say it here. There. I've heard two pronunciations. I've heard Punta Arena. That's the short version where the Santiago people say that.
Yeah.
Punta Arenas. That's what the locals say. So there's two A's, but they only say one of them.
I see, right. Well, apparently it means Sandy Point.
Yes. So you said you're excited.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what you think so far, and like it's getting, well, here at the moment it's 6:40 a.m. 6:40 a.m. Friday, and the sun's coming up, of course, as it would be. So yeah, I'm excited to check in with you and see how it's been so far, and you're meeting everyone, all the other people on the trip.
Yes. And so Mick, you're in Brisbane. So somebody asked where you are. So
Sorry, say again.
Somebody asks where you are, and you're in Brisbane.
Brisbane, yes, Brisbane, Australia.
And you are Mott. The answer is yes. Now, on my way over, it's always already told the story, I think, but I had trouble with the flights.
I've been watching I've watched all of your update videos.
So, as it turns out, they actually have a baggage transfer counter somewhere in Santiago Airport, but I don't know. I still don't know where it is. But if I had made it to that transfer counter, they would have taken my bags, and I would have been on the my connecting flight. But anyway, we're here now, and if you've been watching, you've been noticing I've been doing the weighing of my mass. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
And it's all correlating to exactly what is predicted on the globe.
Yeah, and that proves rotation, doesn't it? That's in order to prove rotation.
Yes, that's right. So as far as I'm concerned, very good evidence for rotation and shape of the Earth in terms of round, globe, sphere, oblate, spheroid.
In space.
In space. This morning, so we measured the distance between 2 points outside the hotel. So that's another one of the experiments. I don't know whether you've seen the experiments in Toons.
I haven't seen that one.
The Toons website has the experiments. So my mic is peaking. Just a minute, I'll turn down the volume a bit.
Oh yeah, I was going to say I can hear it peaking a little bit.
The volume, actually, all right, I'll turn it down, even though it's not. How's that?
Yeah,
Okay?
I can hear you. Yeah.
So now, according to the AE map, the lines of longitude get wider as you go out.
Yeah.
So the distance between two lines of longitude should get more. On the globe, they get less. So we went out and measured the distance between it. They were only 260 meters apart, but we know the GPS coordinates and we can work out how many kilometers between two lines of longitude here in Punta Arenas. And if it's small, which it is, it's a globe. If it's big, it's flatter, i.e. map.
So you're
So,
relying on the GPS for that, aren't you?
well,
Not
do you
any
use
other
it around?
maritime old maritime maps, or like what sort of landmark do you have for each meridian line?
So everywhere on the earth has a lat and long, and nobody disputes what they are, right?
Well,
And you,
they're only theoretical lines. They're not actual lines on the ground, though, are they?
well, you can draw a line on the ground at that point, and then they will be a line on the ground. So it's not theoretical at all. It's
Oh boy.
it's not theoretical. You use a GPS every day to find out where you're going.
Yeah, the layout of the streets is not theoretical, but the layout of latitude and longitude lines is indeed theoretical, and there's no lines drawn on the actual ground or the water.
No,
Like, you're
no,
kidding. You're using the
they're not
GPS
theoretical.
to rely on that.
Theoretical. But if you wanted to draw a line on your ground, you could do that. But just because the lines aren't drawn doesn't mean that they're not there, right?
Well, you can draw a random line anywhere, certainly, but that's not science, CT. That's not
Hang on,
science. Come on.
random lines, they are in particular positions,
I
right?
mean, real. This reminds me, do you have Starlink at Union Glacier? Do you know?
Yes, we do.
You do. So the Starlink satellites are orbiting over Antarctica as well.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. All right. Good. Well,
So,
I hope you've got good signal.
so do I. Do you believe that GPS gives you an accurate location?
Only in some ways, not for mapping the globe, because the globe does not exist.
I'm not talking about mapping the globe. I'm saying
You are talking about mapping the globe. You are talking about locations, physical locations on the globe.
Can you let me finish? I'm not talking about mapping the globe. I'm talking about pinpointing a lat long at any location. Does GPS work for that?
Okay, let's use the word pinpointing instead of mapping. You are trying to pinpoint locations on the globe based on false information and theoretical information. And you're taking that as if it's fact. That's the same as believing a blender model over what you see with your real own eyes.
Can you answer the question as I asked it, please? Can you rely on the latitude and longitude that a GPS gives you?
Only in certain situations, like
So
my
when you're in the middle
daily
of
commute.
is that a situation in the middle of the desert?
Well, I really don't know. I haven't tried it myself. And how would anyone know?
All right, so you know that they have these GPS devices that you they if you look at it, you know exactly where you are. You're aware of a GPS device, right?
What about if you observe the sun setting from Union Glacier? You're on the final experiment trip. You don't have to rely on GPSs and stuff like that anymore. You've got this trip very handy. You are gonna see the sunset like it sets in Punta Arenas, doesn't it? You get normal nighttime in Punta Arenas.
Yeah, barely. Of course, yes, we do. Now, so you're still waiting for the okay after you see the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Will you then talk to me about GPS?
Yes, I will believe it all. If you have a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, I will go back to believing that all of NASA's fakery is real and GPSs are telling the truth in all cases about everything.
I'm not
The flight
asking you.
tracker apps are all accurate, and
No, no,
planes
no,
need to navigate over the rotating Earth because their airport that they're heading towards is moving in relation to the plane.
sarcastic a little bit.
So if you have a 24-hour sun, I will have to go back to believing all that.
No, it's not a matter of belief. All I'm asking is that you
Yes,
listen to the arguments. It's not about a matter of belief.
yes, it is. And what will you do if the sun sets? What are you going to do if you're at Union Glacier and the sun sets?
I already said I will say I was wrong about then take down all my videos except putting up another video saying I was wrong.
Will you stop believing GPS is accurate?
GPS works on a flat. The same coordinates work on a flat Earth, so I don't know what that means.
Oh, really? Is it from orbiting satellites? Orbiting? Have you got evidence for orbiting?
So if the sun sets, then
or are they balloons?
I will say there's no orbiting satellites. How about that?
What? No orbiting satellites?
If the sun sets at Union Glacier, I will say, all right, there's no orbiting satellites.
Why will you say that?
Because satellites rely on a globe and gravity and all that, and they
what
work
else?
by the globe.
What else? If the sun sets at Union Glacier, as it sets in Punta Arenas, are you gonna? Is there other things that you'll change your thinking on, like curving water?
Yeah, that's right. There's no curving water.
Flat water. Water is flat and level. And the sun is not 93 million miles away.
Yeah, so this is all speculation because the sun is not going to set in Union
And NASA
Glacier.
is faking everything.
Well, that's all speculation as well.
Like
But
you
anyway,
still believe the moon landing videos are real?
Another thing, what about the angle to the sun? You talked about measuring angles to the sun. Is that what you said? So instead of using GPS, we should be measuring angles to the sun. Is that correct?
I didn't say that at all, no.
Instead of using GPS, how would we find our location?
I think you would have to use a compass and a sextant and a proper map, like a navigational map for ships, so that you know where you are.
So if I have a map of Punta Arenas here, you think it's wrong?
No. You are clinging to minutiae. You cling to things that are not evidence of anything and are part of the deception. So the only thing we've got really, the only way that you are ever gonna change your thinking is to go to Union Glacier and see the sunset.
Right. So about this you say you should use a sextant to navigate. Is that what you said?
Gee whiz, CT. You're clinging to. So okay, just use your GPS to assume that you know where the lines of longitude are. Let's go with that. That's science. Do that.
No,
Just
it's
do
on
that.
the. Can you tell me one instance that anybody has ever reported where GPS has reported an incorrect latitude and longitude?
Never. GPS is perfect and comes from, the US government, and is never, ever wrong.
So if it's never ever wrong, what's
Perfect.
wrong with it?
Nothing. It's perfect. Do your experiments. Do your experiments as you're doing them. Assume that you are correct.
No. GPS works. There's no assumption on that. There is no reading GPS reading that is false, except in the case of the Russians spoofing it, and so they
That
create
can't happen.
false.
There's no way that anyone could meddle with the GPS system in any way. That's rubbish. The Russians, that's absolute rubbish. The GPS system, as you know, is trustworthy. It always shows us everything we need to know. It's showing you the exact location on the continent, the island continent of Antarctica that you're going to. There's satellites orbiting in all directions around the ball in space. They're all different directions, aren't they? They never crash into each other. And you've seen pictures of the space junk that's up there. All those satellites, they don't crash into each other, do they?
Sometimes they can. They are very careful to monitor every satellite.
They never hit the International Space Station, nothing like that. There's space junk whizzing around 17,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, know that they do maneuver the space station and keep careful track of space junk. You know that, don't you?
I used to think that, CT.
Anyway, I
used to
want
think that.
to ask again. I want to check. So
okay, let's go back to GPS.
How do I establish my position if I'm not using GPS?
You can't. GPS is the only way to do it. It's the way that humans have done it for thousands of years.
They didn't have GPS thousands of years ago.
Well, they must have, because it's all you've got. They must have used GPS. That's the only thing you've got to use.
I don't understand your logic of that. In fact, it sounds like that's quite false, because the people who explored this part of the world didn't have GPS. I mean, that's a known fact. So why?
Well, it's impossible to navigate. It's impossible for you to know where you are without GPS. So how did they know?
It's not impossible for me to know where I am without GPS. So why do you say that? Why do you say that?
Well, where's the lines of longitude and latitude? You're at a certain line of latitude and you're at a certain line of longitude, which to me looks like it's virtually in line with New York City. So same time zone as New York City.
Why do you say that GPS is the only way? So what do
because
you
you place all your faith in it.
Hey?
Because you are placing all of your faith in GPS. You're using it to locate.
Do you know why people trust GPS?
Because it's been around for thousands of years.
No, it has not. People trust GPS because it's not wrong, except when it's spoofed.
Yeah, so the only way, so I'm saying to you that talking about this any further is no good, because you're going to use GPS. It's the only thing you've got to use to establish your assumed lines of longitude where you are and measure curving water. That's what you're trying to do. Your experiments with the scales are measuring the spin of the Earth and the gravity at variations in gravity, like maybe the Earth is speeding up and slowing down with each test. Who knows? That's why you get different readings. Of course, I know how electronic scales works. It's a bimetallic strip. It's affected by humidity and temperature, of course, and various other things, as are the weights and all that. It'd be good if you went down to more decimal places. Like, sure, that would be good, but that would be a very expensive scale using a very expensive bimetallic strip. That's how electronic scales work. I don't know if you've ever looked that up, a bimetallic strip, and how that works.
No, I haven't looked up how it works.
It's important to know because it affects your results very much.
No, it doesn't affect them very much.
Yes, it does.
I have used these scales and tested all of these things. Isn't it funny how the mass weighs exactly as predicted by the mathematics that is created by the reality of a globe rotating?
And where do you get that? Where do you get that mathematics from?
Where do you get it from? Smart people have created a model, and I've said, look, maybe that model's not right.
You use predictions. You use predictions of the weights.
Let me finish to explain. I said maybe I should check their model. I'll work out what the weights should be according to their model, and then I'll go out in reality and measure it. And if the weight that I measure agrees with what is predicted by the model, that model's pretty good. Really?
Okay, so the Earth's rotating.
Yes, of course it is.
Yes. So, all right. Now, when a plane is flying, say, so the Earth rotates like so from west to east. If this way is west on my globe here, I'm spinning this way. The sun rises in the east, so the globe must be spinning that way. So a plane flying from east to west is flying over the rotating globe, isn't it? So how does the pilot know how to meet the airport that's rotating underneath the plane as the plane flies? Like, so Coriolis affects bullets flying through the air, but not planes.
Yeah, I have explained this to you several times. Now, when a plane is on the ground, it's also rotating with the Earth. So when it takes off, it doesn't. Are you denying that a plane on the ground is traveling at the same speed as the ground? Are you denying that?
Let's just say that until you see the sunset, you are going to believe that your experiments are proving that the Earth is spinning at different rates and different gravity in different spots because of centrifugal force. That's your experiment, isn't it?
To believe it, I've done the calculations and the measurements and the statistical
You do
analysis.
the calculations, you're not getting the calculations from somewhere else?
No, I'm getting the formula from somewhere else. Somebody said, this is the formula for gravity on the Earth. And I said, I will test it. I will work out, is it correct or not correct? I will do my own research and I will work out what something should weigh. Then I will go out and measure it. That's it. And when I measure it, it corresponds to the model.
Who was the one who came up with these figures, the formula?
No, I don't know who. It was a team effort. I don't know who or exactly, but this is the model.
NASA?
This is the model. It's called WGS-84 that a bunch of people
it's a NASA model.
Have refined over the years. Airplanes near the Earth using
this. It's a NASA model, isn't it?
It's a what? No,
NASA.
It's
not from NASA.
I don't think so. So let me ask you a question. If I am in an airplane, I'm traveling at 900 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, and curving the whole time.
900 kilometers an hour?
So, sorry, say again.
You are sitting in an airplane and you are traveling at 900 kilometers an hour. Do you feel that you're traveling at a breakneck speed of 900 kilometers an hour?
Well, no. And even more remarkably is if I was flying from west to east over
No.
the equator, I'd be traveling at 1900 miles an hour through
You're in an
space.
air at 900 kilometers an hour and you don't feel it, right? We've got that
Yeah, and
established.
the pilot has to dip the nose all the time to fly over the curve, but we don't feel that either.
My next question is this. If you throw a ball up in the plane, will the ball travel to
Goodness
the rear
gracious.
of 900 kilometers an hour? Can you
Think of the
see?
ball as like a projectile from a sniper's rifle. Is that affected by Coriolis?
No, listen to my question and answer the question.
Be consistent, CT. You have to be consistent.
Listen to my question and answer the question. If I throw a ball up in the air, you said the Earth spins under a plane, right? I'm in a plane, I'm traveling at
This
900
is such rudimentary stuff.
I throw a ball up in the air. Does the ball zoom to the back of the plane at 900 kilometers an hour?
No. The same happens on a train with a ball, of course.
Yes. So why do you expect?
It seems that you don't comprehend what I'm trying to illustrate to you. The plane is traveling in a great circle, isn't it? All planes travel in a great circle all the time. That means they're arcing over the curve of the water, doesn't it? So
Planes travel around the globe, yes, in a curve, yes.
they're always curving, always. A plane never, ever flies straight on a globe, straight and level.
They do fly straight
You
and
need
level.
to change the definition of the word level. You have to change the definition of the word level to make it meet your religion.
On the globe, level is curved, right? You got to remember that.
There is no such thing as level being curved. That is ridiculous. You need to change the language, the English language. You need to change the definition of words.
If the Earth is a globe, then level is curved, right? You understand that, don't you?
Level is not curved.
No, listen to my question. If the Earth is a globe,
is not level. What's reality? Let's talk reality. Picture yourself putting a spirit level, a long builder's level, on a swimming pool. Is that water level? Is it flat or is it curved?
So, the amount of curvature in a swimming pool is impossible to detect.
Yes, it's impossible for you to correlate, isn't it, I think? So let's talk about the curving water in the ocean. Think of a builder's level that's 100 miles long. Straight. The builder's level is straight and it's 100 miles long.
Yeah.
You put it out and it has to curve over the water.
So no, if a builder's level is straight, the distance between the water and the builder's level will get greater as it gets out a few miles.
So at what distance or what length does that happen? 3 miles?
At any particular length. The Earth is always curving away. So
again, we're back to the Lake Pontchartrain power lines photo.
Why? Why?
Because of curving water.
Well, water does curve, so I don't understand the problem with the photo.
In the photo that I had, which correctly, my apologies for that photo that I had in the last video, that wasn't Lake Pontchartrain, but Lake Pontchartrain does have a road bridge, and there's videos of it on YouTube.
It's been measured, curved, and photographed curved, yes.
So do you think that if you took a standard 600 mil builder's level and put it on at one end of that bridge, right, and measured it level, the bridge
Yeah.
is level, right? And
Yes.
then you drive to the other end of the bridge and you use the same level, the same builder's level to
Yes.
put it on the bridge, and you see that that's level 2. Now, does
Yes.
that mean that the concrete and steel that's making up the bridge is made curved?
Yes.
It's made curved. The steel beams are curved.
I don't know that each beam itself is curved, but the bridge is curved. It's been photographed curved. It's been measured curved.
Wowee. So the
You know,
engineering, now you are an engineer. Let's talk about how they would make a steel beam, right? A H beam or a C-shaped beam, whatever they might be, or concrete beams at the rate of curvature that you think the globe curves at. How do they
okay.
make such things?
Yeah. Listen, if you will listen to the answer, I can explain this. So when they're building a bridge, they build it in sections. Now each section is so small that they don't have to worry about the curvature. And when they put them together, butt them up together, there may be such a small difference between the gap between them at the top and the bottom, so small. But they use surveying to make sure that they are the same height above the water, each section of the bridge, and that ends up being curved.
Wow. Well, there's no point talking anymore about this. You are an engineer and you think they build curved beams, and like the engineering behind such a thing would be remarkable.
You notice I did not say they built
It's
curved.
so there's a slight angle between each beam because the beams are made square, aren't they? The ends are made square. So they've got an angle in between the end of each beam.
Well, I don't know. I'm not a bridge builder, so I don't know
You're an
exactly.
engineer, though. You know how things work, though.
I'm not a bridge builder, right? I don't claim to know everything, right?
Could it be Could
I
it be
understand.
that they're building the beams straight and level, and that the water is actually level and flat? Could that be the case?
No,
Could it also be the case that a plane, an aircraft, is in fact flying over a flat, non-rotating plane?
so what was the
Could that
question again?
be the case? I'm saying to you, I'm asking you, could it be the case? Could it be the case that the bridge is actually built over flat water and the steel and concrete is built in straight sections?
So
And also,
we,
could it also be the case that an aircraft, as according to NASA's paperwork and all those documents that anyone can find, that it says this is all based on an aircraft flying over a flat, non-rotating plane?
so
Could that be the case?
let me explain what that means. They were saying they're going to make the calculations based on the assumption that it's a flat and stationary plane. Now, there's a reason they make this assumption, and that is because the effects are so small in that area that they're calculating that they don't want the complication of curved in the calculation to simplify the calculations. Now, if the Earth was flat,
It
they would
seems like a
not
pretty important thing, though.
now, can you listen to this? If the Earth were flat, they would not need to say, assuming a flat and stationary Earth, because everybody knows that if everybody knew that the Earth was flat and stationary, you would never put that in a scientific paper. Oh, let's just going to assume that the Earth is flat and stationary. You don't do that,
If the same
right?
people had created the lie of the globe, they would say that, wouldn't they? Because they
Well,
know that planes do not fly on a curved globe. They're flying over a flat, non-rotating surface. The calculations for the globe would be extremely important. The rotation of the Earth underneath any aircraft or satellite or anything would be very important for the flying of the thing.
So are
It
you
would be
aware
very
that
important.
are you aware that there are 100,000 flights a day that use global navigation?
Of course, GPS is infallible and can be trusted 100%.
So if it wasn't infallible, if it wasn't trusted, do you know how many people would die because planes run out of fuel?
Oh, everyone would die. That's right. We're here to save lives by trusting the GPS system.
Everyone would die. That's what you just said.
Yeah, everyone would die without GPS. We would all crash our cars, we would
No,
all crash our boats, and we wouldn't have a
listen,
chance at all.
planes fly on distance, right? They have to load fuel according to distance. If they did not get the distance correct, people would die because they
That's
would run
right.
out of.
So that's what
So,
happened until GPS came along.
so they run on globe distances. Do you know the globe in the southern hemisphere in particular? The globe distances are different to the flat Earth distances. Were you aware of that?
CT, to me, this is pretty pointless. The thing is that you don't seem capable of thinking beyond any sort of limited distance yourself. So it really comes down to you need to go to Union Glacier and you need to see that the sun will set. And when the sun sets, I hope you don't come up with excuses of that, no, it was just behind the clouds, or no, it didn't set, it was just perspective that did it, that made it appear to be setting. You know,
I'm
there's
sorry,
going
that's called flat Earth tactics. I don't engage in
another,
that.
well, another question for you is do you know, this is a genuine question, I don't know the answer to this, and I hope you do know, is the time zone at Union Glacier the same as Punta Arenas?
It is the same, but it's the solar time is a little bit different.
So this
So
is where I think there could be some kind of deception going on to do with the time zones.
yeah, I know people have said that, but
Yeah,
it's when we go to Union Glacier, you'll be able to see very clearly with all the videos and everything. Everybody
yeah.
will see very clearly that that's not the case, right?
All
Because
right, well, good.
right. So there's no time zone trick. Right? We're well aware of where the sun is. We'll be able to measure the angle to the sun. Everything. There'll be no mistaking, right? Because of that.
Yeah, I just was reminded of something else in one of your videos recently before you left Brisbane. You were at Margate and commenting on the fact that the sun rises south of east. But in the
Yes.
same video, you're decrying the use of compasses for determining direction. So did you use a compass to determine where east is at Margate?
You can use it. You'd realise that it's not the most accurate, right? A compass
A
or has
compass?
a compass is not the most accurate because the magnetic pole is not at the South Pole.
Bloody compasses. Who'd have thunk that they'd use them? People were waiting for GPS the whole time. Otherwise, we never knew where we were.
Are you aware that in the days of when they were flying by compass, they had to be very, very careful not to end up in the wrong place because of things like magnetic declination and
Yeah.
their compasses have to be calibrated and they
Oh,
have
you
to know
certainly
on the compass at any point in time. Are you aware of
can't.
that?
You can't trust compasses, no, but you can definitely trust GPS and your iPhone compass. Definitely.
No, your iPhone compass is worse than a real compass.
Oh, what? Oh, no. I've been relying on that to determine that the sun's rising south of east.
So the landmarks, I've said, the landmarks are more accurate. But certainly you
How
can
was the
use.
direction to the landmarks established?
So you've heard of surveying, have you?
I've heard of it. I've been in construction my entire life. I have heard of surveying, and I do actually know what surveyors do.
I think surveyors will know the direction. Do you think that's their job?
How do they determine the direction?
So I'm not a surveyor. I don't know everything. Ha ha ha.
Wow. Would a surveyor use a compass?
I doubt it very much.
What other way is there to determine
So when
cardinal
in
direction?
there was the play like a couple hundred years ago.
Oh no, it's stopped on me. Oh, I think I've lost you. Are you still there?
I think we just cut out for a minute there.
I've still got you, but your picture's frozen at my end. Oh, there you are. Have you got me?
Yeah.
This is those darn satellites orbiting too fast and the signal can't catch up to them.
No, it's actually the Wi-Fi at the hotel here.
No, I think it's the satellites. So, you do you know in aviation, like, so you're not trusting a compass for determining direction. In aviation, like, let's say the runway, do you know what the runway numbers refer to that are written on the runway?
Look, I don't know a lot about that, but there's something to do with cardinal direction, I think, but I don't know.
CT.
But if I don't know something, I'm going to admit I don't know. I'm not going to try and make shit up.
So I need to get to this thing with compasses. So you don't think a compass is a device that's worth anything?
No, it certainly is worth a great deal if you got your compass and you got nothing else, right? That's a marvelous device. It's a big help. But when you have more accurate things, then a compass is not so good, right? And especially if you're going to sit in an aeroplane with a compass and stick it on your tray table, it's not going to work.
Would have been worth a try. And the GPS didn't work in the plane, did it?
No.
Why?
Because the plane is shielded.
Because the GPS works by radio wave, CT.
Yeah, that's what shielded means. The radio waves can't get through.
Does a compass work by radio waves?
No, it works by magnetic.
And what's the magnetic reference that a compass relies on?
So a compass relies on the magnetic of the Earth, but it can be easily interfered with in an aeroplane.
Airplanes have compasses. Ships have compasses. The runways are laid out according to the lines on a compass, not a GPS. The GPS is used to copy the compass. Do you understand? The compass is the original.
That's because they never had GPS when they first had aviation. So all they ever had was a compass in those days. So that's why they did it that way. Since they got GPS come into being, you know that the runways are all mapped in terms of GPS coordinates. These days they've got the GPS.
I've got Flight Simulator 24 on my Xbox. It's excellent. it's an excellent game. Like it's a sim more than a game. It's not really a game. Flight 24, excellent. And I don't know if maybe I'm just a beginner and I can't go higher, but the maximum altitude you can go to is 10,000 feet. You can't go any higher. Because, of course, I wanted to get into the plane on Flight Sim and fly straight to Antarctica. I'm not up to that yet. I can't do it because I don't know how to fly the planes yet. I have to say the Xbox controller is very, very difficult to work out. It's really difficult. So anyway, I'm having trouble with that. But you can only go up to 10,000 feet, and it shows a flat Earth on the screen. And then say again.
Which plane are you flying? Is it a Cessna 172 you're flying?
Oh, yes, because you have to start in the game. You have to start as a beginner, and of course, you start in a Cessna 172, and there's other planes. I don't know if you're familiar with Flight Sim, Microsoft Flight Sim.
Long time ago, I flew a little bit in it. Long time ago.
Yeah, so it's made to be propaganda as well. It shows the globe all the time. All the time. And you can only go up to 10,000 feet.
Could that be that the Earth is a globe? Would that be a reason to show the globe?
Now, if only there was a way to test this by observing a 24-hour sun or a setting sun at Union Glacier in Antarctica in a couple of days' time.
I know some people that are going to do that in a few days' time.
Yeah, so I reckon it's no good talking about any of this now because you seem to be locked in on the minutiae of things and arguing little tiny details about something, but you're not looking at the big picture at all. The fact that water does not curve, curved is not level, crepuscular rays prove a small and local sun, aircraft are not flying over curving water or a rotating ball in space. You don't seem to have any concept of this yet, but perhaps the setting sun that you observe from Union Glacier will be the thing. It'll be a bit of a Truman Show moment, I'm hoping, for you and everyone else, that you go, blimey, it did actually set. Like, it's nighttime now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are going to be very, very interested in what you have to say at the next. So let's plan the next.
Okay.
Next observation in Union Glacier. Now, I think we should try to establish solar noon so that you're not going to use this time zone argument.
Well, that's to do with time zones, isn't it?
No.
So you need to rely on the time of day that they tell you it is when you're there.
No.
So what we need is 24-hour footage of the sun in the sky. That's what we need.
No, we don't get that at all, but we will be attempting to get that. So we just need evidence that the sun does not set. Now,
now I just want to show you. This is my iPad. This is my iPad clock. This is just a normal old clock on iPad. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's where am I? Punta Arenas is here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So see, it's directly in line with New York.
Yeah.
See? So same time zone.
I forget, but UTC -3.
Yeah. So see this line here. That's the night time. Right. And down here is Antarctica.
Yes.
Here's Australia. Here's where you are. So that shows that it's
that direction, but you can't see it on that map.
Yeah, that's right. They don't show it because it looks like it's nighttime all the time because the sun's further away from there.
Let me talk about the time zones, right? Because this is important.
Yeah.
The Union Glacier is on the same time zone as Punta Arenas. Now, I think that is a convenience issue. That solar-wise, if you go by the solar noon, now we will have to establish solar midnight. So the time of day, which is in Union Glacier time, what time is it that the sun is the lowest in the sky? What time is the sun in the most southerly direction? So where people are checking that, and then that's the time. If the sun is in the sky when it is directly south, then it's going to stay up all day. So that's pretty important thing. So I was hoping to be able, just assuming everything goes well with the Starlink and everything, I was hoping to be able to get another call in at solar midnight. Now, I originally thought it was going to be 1 p.m. your time, but it could be as late as another 2 hours and 20 minutes after that. So it could be as late as 3:20. So I'll just consult again with the other people, and we'll work out what time it is in for you when the sun is directly in the south. So I'll try and let you know in the next day.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, meanwhile, I'm working, of course. I've got work to do. So, but you can always get me. Like I'm available on the phone and email, of course. And so I'm looking forward to hearing from you next time from Union Glacier. That'd be fantastic.
Okay, great. I think we can wrap it up.
Okay. Well, great to see you, CT, and I hope it's all going well. I hope everyone's really nice, all the other people on the trip. I hope everyone's nice and getting along and there's no arguing or anything, and we wouldn't want that. So I hope it's all a real good vibe.
that things are getting better, but of course people have different opinions. But anyway, we're trying.
Well, I hope it's a good vibe. Is it a good vibe?
Oh, it's getting better.
Okay.
We have to. We're just going to try and concentrate as much as possible on the experiment and not the personalities.
Well, sure. Yes. I hope that's the case, and I hope that when you see the result, whatever the result is, if you see a 24-hour sun, I hope you are kind and understanding to people. And if they see a setting sun, that they are kind and understanding to you.
Okay. Great. No worries. Thanks.
All right. Well, I promise to be that way anyway, regardless of how it turns out. I'm a bit worried that we won't get to do the call because you won't have signal. So, and I'd like to predict something else. I reckon you'll have 24 hours for 4 days. You'll have 4 days solid of nothing but overcast.
Right. So let's hope that doesn't happen, because that would be a disaster, a lot of money wasted.
Yeah.
But there's, I think, a better than 95% chance that we'll have internet. So I think we'll be pretty right. Anyway.
Well, I really hope so. Yeah. So, all right. Well, today is Friday. Today's Thursday, your time, isn't it? Still.
Yes, we'll be there Saturday.
Saturday is when you're there at Union Glacier.
Sunday, your time.
Sunday, right? Gotcha. Yes. Okay. Excellent. Well, I'll be thinking of you. I pray for a safe trip for everyone, we want everyone coming back. That's the main thing. We don't want anything bad happening. I want to see you at Margate.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Yeah. All right. Bye. Bye, everyone.